everybody, and welcome back to my channel. You know the drill. We're going to be using this Venus McFlytrap doll as our base. First we're going to start by removing the hair accessory from her hair, and once she's all stripped down to our bare base, it's time to start customizing. We're going to cut off her beautiful green and pink hair and take out all the hair plugs. We are going to be making the spring counterpart to my fall fairy doll. This is like his sister or whatever. And yeah, so we're going to remove all the flocking and all the paint from her head with 100% pure acetone, and of course using hot water to remove her head. Yeah. And once that's all cleaned off, we're gonna drill some holes into her back for her wings, of course, because she's gotta have those big leaf wings on her back. I got a nice hand Dremel, so yeah. And we're gonna make some like wire loops to go into her back to be used so that the wings can be articulated. You know, just like last time. Yeah. And then I made a bunch of like other like loop things to be so they could be screwed in to the loops that go into our back. Those will be going inside of the fabric wings. We're going to measure and cut some hair. Of course, she's getting white hair to match her brother, but she's gonna have like bluish greenish streaks in her hair instead of orange. And we're gonna secure all that hair in her head with some glue as usual. We're gonna pop her head back on, struggle a bit, as you do. And we're gonna cut out her fabric wings. I was going for like a tropically kind of like leaf shape, And I did this 4 more times, and I sewed them all together so that they're like, like a pocket for the wire to go in. I pinned the wire in place so that we can embroider the leaf veins painstakingly using this green embroidery thread. It took forever. But it is kind of satisfying, but it does hurt your fingers, so. Now we're going to change the color of her skin to a brighter, more spring green color. I started with this doll base because, her skin is already green, so it'll blend in better when the paint around, chips off, We're gonna seal it in with some matte Mod Podge, so that, the paint doesn't chip off as easily. Yeah. And we're gonna make some ears out of some craft foam. They're gonna be leaves, like tropical leaves, to match her wings. I'm just using this yellow one because I've already been cutting out of it and I want to finish it off before I switch to a different color, I guess. Yeah. Cut out all that. Cut out 2 of them, of course. And now we're going to start painting her face while we have our paints out. I start with the whites of the eyes as usual. I think I did 2 coats of that, to make sure that it's like thick, I guess. And then we paint on her eyebrows, like the same color as the streaks in her hair. I had to repaint this eyebrow like 3 times because I kept messing it up. Because I'm right-handed, unfortunately. But it's okay, I got it in the end. Yeah, so now we're going to paint on some flower petals under her left eye to mirror the leafs the leaves on her brother's right eye. Because, you know, they're matching. Because they're twins. She's got pink and purple flower petals under her eye. And we're going to paint her leaf ears a darker green, you know, to make them look like leaves and not just weird yellow leaf shapes. Yeah. Then, when we're done with that, we paint in the irises of her eyes and like a nice bluish color, nice blue color. And then we paint in like the shadow part of the top of her eye to make it look more, like have more depth, I guess. And then we paint in her pupils using the back of a paintbrush to paint in the dots. And then we do the little eye shines. Once that's all dry, we use a paint pen to outline all the details on her face, like the leaves, the flower petals, her eyelashes, and the lip lines. And then we seal all that in once it's dry with some matte Mod Podge again. And we also use that to seal in the leaves, like the paint on the leaves, leaf ears. But I only did one side because I didn't feel like doing the other side. Now we're going to start making her clothes. So I did like an outline of her body. I don't know what I was really doing. And then I just like cut out this like triangular piece of fabric. It's like a triangle. And then I cut like a little slit for like the armhole. But I ended up like making like sewing the fabric together to make it more form to the body. And I did that with the darker fabric too. And then I wrapped a piece of fabric around her waist for the skirt and cut it out like, I don't know, like I cut off a bit of it and then I cut out, like used that to cut out a piece with the lighter fabric, you know. And then I used a piece of white fabric to be like the inner lining of it. So basically like I lined the inside of the skirt with some white fabric and I pinned it all in place and sewed it using the ladder stitch. And then I'm gonna use this like, I don't know, it came from a tutu, so it's kind of like tulle, I guess, or I don't know what fabric it is really. Then I, cut it to be the length of the arm, and then I just sew it so that the arm can slip inside of it. Yeah. I did this twice for both arms, and then I cut off the excess fabric that's on the outside. And then I use the edge of the purple fabric to make like the sleeve cuffs. And I sewed those around the edge of the end of the sleeve. And then I paint the inner part of the skirt like a light yellow because I want it to look like I don't know what kind of flower I was trying to go for, but, like a flower. And then I hot glued her leaf ears on to her actual ears because I didn't feel like cutting them off this time. I don't know. And then I styled her hair, I brushed it out with a cat brush and put it into a ponytail and braided the blue section and cut off a bit of it. And now we're going to assemble her leaf wings back together on her back to make them so she can fly. I don't know, man. Then we gotta situate her hair. And she's all done. Here are the photos of her outside that I took. Of course, I had to get one with her brother. And yeah, if you liked the video, click the like button and subscribe if you want to. Bye!